I mean finding all missing angles and sides. And then we ended talking about angles of elevation and depression. And the key to those, what does that mean? If it's an angle of elevation, it starts at a horizontal and goes up. Angle of depression starts at a horizontal and goes down. But the key, either of those starts at a horizontal. So this one, we have a flagpole. 55.20 feet tall. How many significant digits is that?
4.
Which one is it?
4, you count 0.
If there's a decimal, you count the 0, so it's 4 significant digits. And the shadow, where does the shadow go?
On the ground.
Okay, I'm just going to say that because I guarantee you I will put one of these on a test or quiz at some point, and about half the people will put the shadow on the hypotenuse. It happens every year. But where does your shadow go?
On the ground.
It's always on the ground.
Sunshine.
Okay, we want the angle of elevation of the sun. So the sun's up here in the sky. Angle of elevation says from a horizontal line going up. So I'm actually looking for this angle, and it is inside my triangle. So what trig function could I use? Because I'm assuming a right angle.
Tangent.
Tangent is opposite. Right by adjacent. Okay, first of all, before we do anything else,
Degree mode.
degree mode. Make sure you are in degree mode. Every test and quiz, make sure you are in degree mode. Okay. And then how am I going to type this in?
Tangent -1.
Right. If you are looking for an angle, that's when you do the inverse. So the second tangent. 5.2 divided by 27.65. And we want 4 significant digits, so 63.39.
That tangent question for the JV team hurt my soul.
Wouldn't it be the other? Yeah, I think you did adjacent over hypotenuse. Or adjacent over the angle of the sun and the top corner.
Okay, here's why I'm looking for this. When it says of the sun, but it's the angle of elevation. So angle of elevation has to be from a horizontal line going up. So even though I'm talking about the sun, it's like basically from the ground, what's the angle up to the sun? Does that make sense? Other questions? Let's look at another problem. Do we need another elevation depression problem? And the last type of problem I have. Solving for missing things in a picture. So I do have a right triangle here. We are trying to find x in the picture, which is the distance between C and D. How many triangles actually exist in this picture?
2, 3.
3, but are they all right triangles? No, and remember, the trig functions only apply to right triangles. If it's not a right triangle, it doesn't have a hypotenuse, or SOHCAHTOA definition wouldn't work. So triangle like ABD, I can't do anything with that. So we really have this triangle, BDC, so this is H, this is X, and this angle is 54 degrees. Or I can look at the whole triangle. This is H. This angle is 38 degrees. What would this side be?
32 plus x.
Okay. In order to find a missing length in a triangle, you have to know two pieces of information. We have to have at least one side length. Do we here? No. So that kind of creates some problems. Okay, I can find my other angle, but I still don't know any sides. So if I were looking from this one, H is my opposite, X is adjacent. What trig function involves those? So I could say the tangent of 54 degrees equals H over X. So you could multiply over the X, but we're kind of stuck because we don't know X and we don't know H. Let's go to the second triangle. I could do the same thing. From my 38 degrees, tangent is opposite over adjacent. What would you do now? If you want to get rid of the fraction, you can multiply this over. So basically, we've taken this trig problem and we've turned it into an ugly algebra problem. Both of these things are equal to h, which means we can substitute. They are equal to each other.
Yeah.
Okay, so I could say x times the tangent of 54 degrees equals, could I go ahead and distribute and make this x tangent of 38 degrees plus 32 tangent of 38 degrees? And even when we're multiplying, the angle never changes, so it just turns into a coefficient. Have I lost anybody? We are trying to find x, so what do we have to do?
I'll get x by itself.
Okay, we need to get the x by itself. Now, since I have an x in two separate terms, I need to put those on the same side of the equation. Unfortunately, in order to be like terms, they have to have the same angle, and these do not. So when I bring it over, just x tangent of 54 degrees minus x tangent of 38 degrees. I can't add them together.
Can we find, like, do put tangent, like 32 tangent 38?
You can and get numbers for those, although I've told you I really want you to wait until the very end to substitute. If you did that, you would just need several decimal places, not to throw off your answer.
Can we divide them?
Okay, in order to finish this, we'll have to move it over. They are multiplied with the x, which means we'll have to divide them away at some point. What do both of these terms have in them?
Tangent.
They have tangent and they have an x. If you took out the x,
Yeah.
so we have 32 tangent of 38 degrees divided by tangent of 54 degrees minus the tangent of 38 degrees. Yes, we could have cleaned this up a lot if we had evaluated those tangents earlier, but I'm trying to keep my answer as accurate as possible, so I want to avoid that if we can. Okay, so if we type this in, make sure you're in degree mode. So I have 32 tangent of 38 degrees. When you push the tangent button, it opens a parenthesis, so you have to close it. And then you'll need a parenthesis around the entire denominator as well as each of these angles. Two significant digits in the problem. So I get 42.0119. So we would call it 42. Did I give you any units?
No.
No. Oh, feet. It said 32 feet. So 42. Not in the picture, but in the
Oh.
problem then. Alright. That was a pretty lengthy problem. You're not going to have any like that on your homework. We're going to have some next week like that where we're solving for a side of a triangle and we might have to do a longer process. Yes. Okay.
Did it just say to solve for x?
Yes, we did not have time to work and practice that. Of course, there's an answer key. You can check yourselves. This will be due on Monday and we'll start the last section on Monday.